Hi, and welcome to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. I'm your host, Julia Zatta, a LinkedIn strategist and ghostwriter, and lover of all things practical when it comes to visibility strategies. This podcast is for service-based business owners who want to build their brand on LinkedIn, attract new clients, collaborators, and speaking engagements without overthinking every post or sounding like a corporate robot. And yes, we're going to keep it actionable and fun. Let's dive in. Maybe you know that you need help showing up on LinkedIn and you'd like to hire somebody for that role, but the idea of outsourcing feels exhausting. You're already short on time, and the last thing you want to do is hire somebody that's going to just create more work for you. So if this sounds like you, in today's episode, I'm going to help you figure out how to find the right copywriter or content writer to support your small business and avoid the messy middle, that part where you're just winging it. So many business owners tend to hire based on gut feeling. I know I've done that before, and we think that just because we had a good feeling about this person, they're going to be a good fit, and that doesn't always turn out to be true. You end up stuck in the messy middle, which is rewriting drafts, micromanaging the new team member that you hired, or just not feeling seen, having communication issues where you're constantly explaining the same things over and over again, but somehow it doesn't seem to land. And the real problem here is actually a lack of preparation and misaligned expectations. So before we hire somebody for our small team, we need to do some prep work and know what questions to ask so that we can avoid the messy bit and find a right fit. If this resonates and you're looking for a content writer to support you with LinkedIn or your social media presence, I'm going to walk you through what to get ready before you hire, the kind of questions you need to ask so you're making sure that you're hiring the right person for you, and a few red flags to watch out for so that you don't fall into the trap of hiring somebody just on gut feelings. So let's get started. Let's look at 5 things to get ready so you make sure that your new content partner is the right fit for your brand. So the very first thing you need to have ready is understanding who your ideal client is so that your content partner can speak directly to them. Things to have in mind about your ideal client is what stage of life or business are they in? What do they want? What problem are they struggling with? And where do they want to arrive? What would they like to achieve? Next, you want to have your social proof ready. So any testimonials, case studies, before and after stories, or even screenshots of client reviews that they've left for you in Google. All this is going to be really helpful for your content writer to get an exact idea of the transformation you provide to clients, and also to understand the language your clients use to explain how they felt working with you or the outcomes they've achieved. The third thing you want to get ready is the content you've already created that can be repurposed. So if you have old social media posts, blog posts, if you have a YouTube channel, if you send email newsletters, or if you've given away free webinars, or if you've been interviewed on podcasts, anywhere that you've shared content in the past is useful for repurposing, but also for understanding what your tone of voice sounds like so that your content. And then number 4, probably the most important item on this list, is understanding what your goals are. So what do you want your content partner, your copywriter, or your social media strategist to do for your business? What are 2 or 3 goals that you would like to achieve? And you want to make sure that these goals are measurable so that you can track the results of your collaboration. So if you're looking to attract new leads, if you're looking to build authority in your niche, if you're looking to nurture your followers, launch an offer or promote it, or to drive traffic to your website or to a lead magnet, so think about what your top 3 primary goals are. And if you want to prepare for this, think of how you would end this sentence. I'll know this is working when, right? For most people, that is new leads, but not necessarily. And then number 5, you want to make sure that you have expectations for your collaboration with your content partner. So think about, what does a successful partnership look like for you? What is your preferred communication style? What turnaround time would be helpful to you? What apps do you use in your business that you're comfortable with? Think about the different different aspects of asynchronous communication. Do you like to communicate via text message, email, calls? What is your preferred method of communication? Because this is crucial. You want to find somebody that has a similar style of communication as you, or that can adapt to your preferred communication style. And these are things that you want to ask the people that you're looking at, the potential collaborators you're looking at, so that you can determine whether they'd be a good fit for you. So these 5 things are what you want to get ready on your end before you start looking for people. It's a great exercise that'll help you clarify where you are in your business as well, who you're targeting, and what kind of support you need. Once you've done this work, you want to move into, what kind of questions do I need to ask the people I'm interviewing to understand if they'd be a great fit for me and my team. So now I'm going to share 5 questions I'm most often asked when I'm having discovery calls. These are questions I often get asked, and if they don't ask them, I answer them anyways because they will probably think about them later. So number 1 is, what's your availability and turnaround time? You want to make sure that when you're talking to a potential collaborator that they are available and that their schedule and timing meets your needs. And so when you're asking especially about turnaround time, it means like, do they batch the content monthly, weekly? Like, how much time do they need to turn around the content after you've provided all the required assets? The next question you should ask a potential team member is, what's your process for creating and delivering content? The process a person uses says a lot about how they structure their work and also what they will need from you. If your potential collaborator has a clear and repeatable workflow, this means it's less stress for you because you will fall into a rhythm together. So ask them about how they gather content ideas, whether they provide drafts for review, and how far in advance you'll receive the content. Also, what will they expect you to provide them in advance? Question number 3 you want to ask your potential collaborator is, do you handle content scheduling? Some copywriters just write content and then give it to you for scheduling, which this is something that your VA will need to take care of for you, but other copywriters will schedule the content for you. So figure out the nitty-gritty of the collaboration. Apart from drafting the content and delivering it on time, who's going to be in charge of scheduling it? This will really help you understand what you and your team need to take care of and what your content writer will take care of for you. And question number 4 to ask is, do you also create graphics and video content, or do you just provide the written content? So visuals matter a ton on social media today, and so you need to know if they include graphics and do they use Canva to design those graphics or another platform. I, for example, use Canva. Most of my clients use Canva, and so when we start collaborating together, they add me to their team on Canva where I have access to their brand kit, so I can design carousels or images or graphics that are on brand. And also I upload any type of videos that we have created together into their Canva so that they have it on hand and can repurpose it in the future even after we are done collaborating. Question number 5 to ask your potential content writer is, what's the approval and feedback process like? Again, we're looking at the nitty-gritty so that you make sure that you hire somebody that's going to make things as easy for you as possible. So ask them about how they will submit content for approval, what the process is for receiving feedback, and also how many revisions are included. This is particularly important to understand how this process is going to fit into your workday. Okay, so now that we've got all that covered, let's move into what red flags to watch out for. Starting with red flag number 1, social proof. You want to make sure that this person has worked with other business owners before, so ask for recommendations and reviews. Do they have any that they can share with you, or previous client work or client testimonials that you can have a look at? Red flag number 2 is they don't actually have a process for creating and delivering content. It's not well structured. You don't really understand what the system is. This can be confusing and can create communication problems down the line. So make sure that their delivery process is solid. And then red flag number 3, I would say, is around boundaries. You can see this in how their onboarding process is structured, which is something I didn't cover previously, which I probably should have. have. But another question you might want to ask is, what is your onboarding process? Like, walk me through every single step we're going to go through from when I say yes to when the first piece of content is delivered. So usually that looks like a discovery call, then a contract to be signed, then an invoice to be sent out, then an onboarding call, then a strategy to be put in place, then a content calendar to be delivered, and then the first few content drafts for approval. Different content writers will work differently, but overall, these are the steps that you want to see in place, especially the part where you have an agreement that outlines everything that you've been promised you will receive, as well as a clear path for communication, reviewing your content, etc. And this information, you will usually see it in your potential collaborators' client testimonials. Like, for example, in my client testimonials, people usually say, like, it's so easy to communicate with me. I'm a great communicator. I'm a great collaborator. I'm great at receiving feedback. I'm timely, etc. So these points about how a person collaborates should be reflected in their social proof and their client testimonials. This is a great way to see if you're hiring somebody that's going to meet your standards and your needs. And so, anywho, I hope these tips were helpful. Obviously, somebody might tick off all these points and still not be a great collaborator for you. Sometimes there is a mismatch of personalities, communication styles, or even expectations. But the more you can address these issues up front, the less likely you are to encounter them down the line. I hope this was helpful. And if you are looking for somebody to help you with your content and you'd like to jump on a call to see if we might be a good fit, you will find a link to book a visibility call with me in the show notes. As always, if you've enjoyed this episode, please send me a DM on LinkedIn and let me know what your biggest takeaway was. All right, I will talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in to LinkedIn for Entrepreneurs. If you found this episode helpful, please share it on LinkedIn or on your favorite social media platform. And if you really want to make my day, leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. It helps more business owners find this show. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.